Hi, hello, welcome back to All Scrubbed Up. My name is Charlene. This week, Nicole and I are going to be serving you with carnival looks. Nicole and I both have Guyanese parents, so from Guyana, for those of you that don't know the term Guyanese. And although Guyana isn't in the Caribbean, it's actually in South America. It takes a lot of the cultural references like food, music and things like that from the Caribbean. So yeah, we do feel more Caribbean-y, I'd say, than South American. You can let me know if I'm wrong there. And so the colours for this look are from the flag, which is red, green, black and yellow. And so that's what I'm inspired by this week. I'm going to be starting off with my skin. I'm using the trusty Becca Cosmetics Illuminator. It's actually called Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, and this one is in Topaz. I just pop a small drop of that onto my hand. So as you can see, there really isn't that much on there, and I'm going to put that all over my face. So from the first video that I did, you would have seen that I used it there, so popping it underneath my eyes to reflect away from the dark circle or the brown area that I have, and then just popping it on everywhere else around my face after that. So this is what I use on my day off when I don't want to wear foundation, but I want my skin to look glowy. This is my key product. Okay, so now I'm popping on a little bit of my corrector, which is from MAC. It's a duo corrector. So a little bit of the orange just in the corner here and at the corner of my eye, using my finger to dab that in. So just patting away to help layer it and work it into my skin. And then using the ochre on the other side over the orange just to neutralize it, and that way I don't have to use so much concealer to try and get rid of the orange. So just patting that in. Next I'm going to pop on some concealer. And this is my usual Amande concealer from Nars. Just using it in the way that I always do as my base. So giving a swoop underneath each eye, a little bit on the forehead, my chin, and a little bit on my cheeks. And this generally is enough to get me through the day. And then with my Real Techniques brush, just working it in everywhere. I'm kind of doing a pat and drag type motion. Patting around my eyes and then just dragging the rest of the concealer around my face. I think I might actually use some of this as my base as well, so I'm going to put a tiny bit on my eyelids too. And then just work that in. Okay, so now I'm going to start focusing on the exciting part, which is the eyes. The first colour that I'm going to use is this yellow. It's Chrome Yellow by MAC. It is very, very matte, which is kind of the look that which is the look that I was going for. More of a kind of like matte, a really bright, vibrant colour. I'm using my trusty 239 brush from MAC. I really love this brush because it just does the job. It makes life so much easier. So just working that onto my eyelid. Because I want the lid to have this really solid colour, I'm going to be putting on a couple of layers because I want the colour to be really bold and really solid. I'm just taking that to the very edge of my eye and working it up to the crease line. making sure as well that I get really close to the root of my lashes so there's no gap. You can see I've turned the brush upside down just so that I can get to the root of my lashes. I'm just going to do a couple more layers and I'm just simply patting away. You know, when I was thinking of doing this look, I went online and I looked at Caribbean flags, and because in my head I was thinking, oh, you know, of course red, green and yellow. But when I actually looked online at the different flags, there are loads of Caribbean flags that actually have got blue, red and white. And I was like, I don't know how I fancy doing a makeup look with blue, red and white. And so I thought, I know, I'm going to do Mummy's flag, which really was the colours I really wanted to go for. And now I'm going to be using my Studio Fix powder in NW55. This is a recurring powder in all of my videos, whether I'm using it for contouring or using it on my eyes. I am going to be using it on my eyes. The brush that I'm using to do this is the My Kitco Pro brush in 1.12. And I'm just using the very tip of the brush and just working that along my crease line. And that just gives a little bit of softness to the really hard yellow that we've got going on. Now, as you can see, it's mixed a little bit with the yellow, and so I'm going to go back in and just get a little bit more of the yellow going on, and to also kind of mix the two colours together to create a kind of soft graduation. Go back in with the other side. And you can see when I'm doing this as well, I've got my eyes open, I'm looking directly ahead, and by doing this you're able to see how the eyeshadow looks with your eyes open. I know some people kind of like pull and stretch out their eyes, but when you do that, you take your finger away and the skin goes back to normal. The eyeshadow can sometimes be a little bit out of place. So doing it this way, you know exactly how the eyeshadow is going to look when your eyes are normal. Okay, so now I'm going to pop on some of the green. And to do this, I'm going to be using the MAC Chromographic eye pencil in Landscape. Okay, so I'm starting on the very corner of my eye, on the inner corner. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm kind of using my finger as a pivot, almost to rest it. And I'm just doing really short. Oh, it's hot, my pencil's melting. Oh my god. I'm doing really short strokes. Okay, so you can see that I'm just doing small strokes right to the edge of my eye. Slightly wider at the end. And then I'm going to use this crown brush. I think it's a lip brush. It's either a lip brush or it's either a concealer brush. I'm not sure, but I'm going to use that just to kind of blend the line out. And I'm bringing it just to the inner corner of my eye. I want the full length of my eye because that just helps to define the shape a little bit, like the full shape of my eye. And I'm gonna do a small flick down at the corner. So I'm just gonna do the same on the other side. So from the inner corner. Now this is a really creamy pencil, as you can see, it's just kind of gliding on. I am gonna say that because of the heat, it has softened a lot. So just using my lip brush, I'm sure it's a lip brush. It's kind of shaped like a lip brush. Oh, lip brush or concealer brush. And then I'm just kind of like blending that out a bit, smoothing out any lines that I might or any gaps that I might have missed, and then just kind of flicking it out at the end. If you feel like you have trouble with liquid liners, then doing your liner with a pencil in this way is just a slightly easier way. Right, and so now we're going to do a little bit on the eye, a little bit more on the eyes. I'm going to make it a tiny bit smoky, so not super dramatic, but I'm going to add in a little bit of the black, as that's what's on the flag, and I'm going to be using Pat's pencil and just working that from the inner corner all the way to the edge, taking it underneath the lash line as well. Just really defining the shape of my eye. And then I'm going to get the pencil, one of the pencils that I love the most, which is my 219 MAC pencil. You will probably see this in any video that I'm doing where I'm like smudging a liner or an eyeshadow underneath the eye. I'm just blending that out, creating a little bit of smokiness there, and then just blending that through with the green. Just giving it a little bit of a flick. The other side. Okay, so that is the liner done. Now I'm going to pop a little bit of mascara on, and I'm using one of my favourites. It is the MAC False Lash Mascara in Extreme Black. Difference that has made already. Now I can see a speck or two on the yellow, and I'll show you how to clean that up should that ever happen to you. Because my eyelashes are quite curly, it does occasionally happen where I'll pop some mascara on, it gets onto the eyeshadow. Okay, so that's the top lash is done with false lash. I'm going to put a little bit on the bottom, and I'm just basically using the excess of whatever's on the brush and giving my lashes a little kiss with it. As you can see, it separates really well. It doesn't clump together, and that's one of the things that I really love about this mascara. Now I'm going to do my brows. And I'm using Benefit's 24-hour brow set, which is something that I've just recently really fallen in love with. I really like, it's got two different sides of the brush. So one where you can kind of like fluff it out and separate, and the other side is a bit like a comb, and you can really just scoop the hairs up. I guess you'd use that side for coarser hairs that are a little bit harder to tame. It just really allows you to kind of like scrape the hairs up and flatten them, rather than having a straighter line, trying to get them as fluffy as possible. Also brushing the hairs up in the direction that they normally grow in, and then kind of smoothing down any of the ones that are too long. And then going in with my Precisley brow pencil. I have really fallen in love with this stuff. In my last video, I think I would have mentioned that I'd never used Benefit before, and now I was in Boots today and I did go over and take a peek. I'm just like, what else have they got? So just small strokes where I need it. Now I'm going to finish off with the rest of my skins. Going in with my MAC extra dimension highlighter. I'm popping that on the top of my cheekbones in this kind of diagonal direction. Again on the other side. A little bit down the centre of my nose. I'm then going to go in with my Studio Fix powder as my bronzer. So this is the same one that I used on my eyes as well. And just doing that in a diagonal direction, across my cheek, almost across the highlighter as well. The other side. And as I said in my last video as well, just kind of working it into the hairline, because what you don't want is a line that's missing, you know, where the bronze in between your hair and the bronzer. Because what you're trying to do is trying to make it look like it's part of your natural skin, and the only way that you can do that is if you work it into the hairline. It's just shadow. It can be, it's just powder. It can be brushed out. And now I'm using my favourite contour colour, which is a sleek contour and which is the sleek contour and highlight palette. It's just so deep, and I'm just using it to give a bit of extra depth to where I put contour, to where I put the Studio Fix powder. I'm going to use a little bit of that down the side of my nose. And so much for my blusher, I'm going to be using this palette by Coastal Scents. I bought it several years ago, and it's still one of my go-to palettes. It's got some really great colours in there. I'm going to be using this shade here. It doesn't have any of the names on it, so I can't tell you what the colour is, but I do know that they still have this palette online. So just from the apples of my cheeks, and just taking that, it's kind of like the edge of the apple of my cheek, and I'm feathering that back into the bronzer or the contour. Now I am going to pop on a little bit of red, and this is what's going to finish off my Guyanese Carnival flag look. I bought this from Sleek today actually. I saw the colour and I was just a bit like, that looks amazing. So yeah, it's a gloss. It's not a matte one. It's just a normal gloss. But what I liked about it is that it's quite a full colour. I haven't tried it, so this is going to be a first for us both. This is gorgeous, actually. I didn't want to go for a colour that was too red or too, you know, too vibrant, because I didn't want it to end up looking clowny. But this has got the right amount of depth to it. It's glossy but not super wet looking. It's non-sticky, which is lovely. It feels really creamy. Yeah, it feels really nice. Now, as I said earlier, my eyelashes are quite curly, and sometimes when I'm putting on mascara, it can kind of get on my eyelids. And so I said to you a little bit earlier that I'd show you a way to get rid of the yellow, to get rid of the black mascara bits. And basically what I do is I leave it to dry, because when the mascara is dried, you can almost just kind of flick it off. But I'm going in with an angled brush. You can use any angled brush. I'm dipping it in the yellow eyeshadow, and then I'm just going to simply run over them. So if you find that you sometimes put mascara on and it gets onto your eyeshadow, do the rest of your makeup, allow the mascara to set, and then just go in and can kind of just tap or flick or blend the mascara off with your eyeshadow. Okay, so there we are. Here is my Guyanese Flag inspired carnival look. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let us know your thoughts. What are you all going to be doing for carnival this year? Are you going to be going? What kind of looks do you think you're going to go for? We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe to All Scrubbed Up. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handles are all Scrubbed Up. I hope you've enjoyed today. Head over to Nicole's look to see what she's done for this carnival, and we'll be seeing you soon. Bye.